Hello! Today we will be discussing the Cambridge IGCSE listening paper. We are looking specifically into world music, and this is our section B in our paper. So remember, when it comes to Cambridge IGCSE level, you are going to be answering a systematic listening paper in the exam. So you will have to listen through section A, section B, section C, and section D, all chronologically, and answer it respectively. So today we are looking at an example of a section B1, and this has to do with general world listening. This counts 6 marks, and we are looking into an Indian extract. This specific extract comes from the June 2022 paper 1-1. So let's hop right into our questions, and then we can listen to our extract. They ask us to firstly name the melody instrument. So they do tell us we will be hearing an extract for instruments, so we have to name the melody instrument here. Then, next question, how is the sound produced on this instrument? So, do we blow it? Do we hit it? Do we strike it with a bow? What do we do? Next question, how is this instrument accompanied during the first half of the extract? So already by this question we can tell that there's going to be a first half and a second half of an extract. And now we have to listen to how the instrument is being accompanied. This being the melody instrument, how is it being accompanied? Then, where does this music come from? Of course, we're dealing with Indian music today, but we are asked to give 2 reasons for our answer, and we are not allowed to repeat any information already given. So for instance, we will already be getting a mark for our melody instrument here, so we cannot say the melody instrument, that's specifically an Indian instrument, is a reason for why this extract is an Indian music extract. We will have to come up with 2 different reasons. So let's hop right into our listening. The listening extract today comes from the Cambridge School Support Hub, which I have linked in the description, and this will help any teachers or tutors of this subject to be able to share it with students.
Now listen to music B1 and answer the questions.
Okay, so that was our first listening, and of course in the Cambridge paper they do tell us that we will be listening to this extract 4 times. So that was our first playing, after which on the CD now there will be programmed silence, then there will be a second listening, a silence, a third listening, a silence, and then the 4th and final listening or 4th and final playing, followed by a final silence, before which the CD will then move on to section B2, which is the second extract of general world music listening. And of course, in the exam, you will not have the leisure of pausing. The invigilator in the room will not be able to pause for you. You will not be able to say, please can I hear that again? The CD is already programmed, and it's just a one-way CD. You just play it, and it has to play right through until it is finished right at the end. So, today we have the leisure of pausing. Let's go ahead and answer our question. So, name the melody instrument. So, of course, it is very important to know the very main and key instruments in all of our world music, and in Indian music the 2 very big ones would be your sitar and your sarangi, and definitely I'm hearing the sarangi over here. We'll go ahead and listen once more, and then we can also think about how is the sound produced on this instrument. So of course, if you know your Indian instruments, you already know how the sarangi is played, but let's go ahead and listen if we can hear how sound is produced on the instrument, and also how the instrument is accompanied during the first half of the extract. So let's go ahead and listen to our second playing.
Music B1, second playing.
Okay, so we're hearing the sarangi, we're hearing something underneath, and something very distinctive about Indian music is that drone underneath. So let's think about what instrument is creating that drone. So that is the first half of our extract. And of course, the sarangi here is bowed. It is a bowed Indian string instrument. And then we have the accompaniment underneath, and it is definitely a drone accompaniment, and it is most likely played by a tambura, but you can just say that the sarangi here is accompanied by a drone. Then we have our next question: where does this music come from? And of course, it comes from India. So we have to give 2 reasons, and we're not allowed to say anything like sarangi or drone or tambura, nothing like that. So we have to say other things that will justify why this is an Indian extract. So of course, if we listen a bit further in the extract, we can also hear another Indian instrument come to the fore. So let's listen a little bit further, after which I'll pause. Okay, so right there we heard the tabla. That is an Indian percussion instrument. So definitely you can say the presence of a tabla would indicate that this is an Indian music extract. And of course, there's like a free meter. There's not a real time signature or a pulse. Right at the beginning, it starts off very free, and there's a lot of pitch bending. I do hear ornamentation, pitch sliding as well. They're all indicative of Indian music. And then a little bit later on, when the tabla comes in, we do feel a sense of, okay, now we're coming into a steady meter, a steady beat, and we have a rhythmic flow going on there. But the question is limited to 2 marks, so you will only really need 2 facts to be able to get your 2 marks. So any 2 of those Cambridge will accept. And if there is anything else, for instance, if you want to speak about your raga or tala, but you have to be very specific about it if you want to get marks there, not just mentioning there is a raga, there is a tala. So if you haven't really gone deep into Indian music, don't just throw those words around, because you actually need to show that you know what you're talking about and not just throwing words around. So it would be safe to go with one of the other options. But for sure, if you do know what you're talking about and you do understand Indian scales, Indian type rhythms upon which pieces are built and produced, you can go ahead and say that. And that is that. 6 marks for our Indian music listening. And I hope that that gives you a nice insight into what Cambridge may ask in your Cambridge IGCSE music listening paper, if they do happen to ask you Indian music.